Okay, hello and welcome. This is the second episode of Bitbns Crypto Talks. And today I'm going to be talking to Alexandre Paixao, where we will talk anything and everything cryptocurrency and blockchain. Alex is the co-founder of Phantasma chain and handles primarily marketing and business development and is based out of Lisbon, Portugal. An avid self-learner and tech savvy. A little about Phantasma in simple words would be Phantasma is the next generation decentralized content distribution system. Well, now let's move on to the interview and learn more from Alex. So Alex, hello, how are you doing?
Hi there, Kirsten. How's it going? Everything fine from our end. Wonderful weather, lots of work as usual, but.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that you guys are focusing primarily on the development side of it, right?
Yeah, for the past few months, we've been doubling down on development, working 24/7, so that we can provide the best platform and the best ecosystem to our user in the community and the blockchain community.
Love it, fantastic, thank you so much. A couple of questions that we have from the community and a couple of our traders as well. So to begin with, personally, what I'd like to learn from you is, what is Phantasma? Well, how would you explain Phantasma to a kid? How does it work?
So basically, Phantasma, as it is now, and as we'll launch the blockchain very soon, it's aimed at combining the best that blockchain has to offer. Whether it is decentralized applications or true ownership of digital assets, such as it is in the case of non-fungible tokens, a token that is unique and you own the digital asset yourself. We are basically building a whole ecosystem that is catered towards crypto users and towards non-crypto users. So with our new system and the things we are building, anyone will be able to use crypto applications from any blockchain.
Gotcha. All right, let's learn a little more about the use cases of Phantasma protocol. What do you think are the use cases here?
So basically, like I said, we are building a whole ecosystem, and the way that we are doing it is, instead of trying to build the best blockchain and trying to build all of the applications within the Phantasma blockchain itself, we're creating an ecosystem that allows us to get the best that blockchain has to offer in different areas. So we know that different blockchains have dApps, and most of them has already dApps created, but each blockchain has its own, special type of dApp and special type of industry in which they're very good at. They have, some may have very good financial dApps, others may have gambling dApps, others may have communication dApps, others may be focused more on video games and games using blockchain technology. Others are more catered towards e-commerce and all of that. So instead of us trying to build the next Facebook in each of these areas, like I talked about, video games, data, communication, media, e-commerce, video, and social platforms, we are going to try and source the best that crypto has to offer, because our app and the system we're building is being created in a way that allows the user to have multiple accounts. So they may have accounts from Ethereum, from Neo, from EOS, from Tron, from all of these different blockchains, and they can use all of the dApps from these different blockchains in our own Phantasma app.
Gotcha. And I also see that you have Naturalman as a game and also Phantasma email client as well. Apart from these, you've mentioned other use cases as well. From what I know is, one is the Oracle's digital commerce, the video streaming, and a couple of others as well, right? So tell me something here. Which one would, among these, which one do you think is going to come out as best when you launch?
Well, like I said, so we're focusing on gathering the best that crypto has to offer, but that doesn't mean we're not creating our own dApps and our own offerings within our ecosystem, within our blockchain. Some of which, like you said, are games, are decentralized applications like email, like chat, and video streaming platforms. But For us, the focus is so that we create the system so that the user experience is the best that they can get in crypto and in blockchain. So our app, it's going to be an all-encompassing app. The Phantasma app is going to have your accounts. You're going to be able to access dApps from different blockchains, but it's also going to have a communication system in terms of the Phantasma chat. It's also going to have the Phantasma email, and in the case of video games and things like that, those will be available within the Discover area of the app, and it functions kind of like an app store, where you can access those apps directly within the browser, mainly for web apps and all of these things. But imagine like you have your computer with, for example, most people know MetaMask for Ethereum. Imagine having that within your mobile phone in an app that has an account, and then even if you don't have Ethereum, you're able to use Ethereum dApps.
Yep. I hear you. Gotcha. Thank you so much for that. And one other question that's on the top of my head personally is, how is Megaupload and HighCloud your competitors? How is it better than these, right? So that's always on the top of anyone's head who's trying to compare different projects. So what are your thoughts here? How would you throw some light on that?
Yeah, so one of the components that we have within the blockchain itself will be storage. And naturally, you can create that sort of connection to Megaupload and HighCloud and all of those cloud platforms as our competitors. But that's also one of the offerings we will have within the Phantasma app itself, is that it's going to have like a cloud section where you will be able to store different types of files using the blockchain technology and the blockchain system we have created. We're not looking at them as our direct competitors because they have one product, they have one focus, and they want to do it as best as possible. Our case is more towards the connecting different blockchains and different blockchains together, and the use of decentralized applications. And we're offering some of these services within it, but they're not going to be our core part of the business, you know.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that. And talking about the cloud and the storage, right? So when the email app is out for use, how are you going to store the files of these emails? Is it going to be on a blockchain? And if someone is paying for the storage, what happens if he stops paying for it? Will it exist anymore, or is it going to cease from there?
Well, based on the current system that we have, it's a mixed system. So we have the storage for emails is both like the storage is within the blockchain itself, but then you get the access to it. Okay, so let's say, for example, you are paying for specific storage, you know, kind of like you're paying for Google Drive. If you stop paying for Google Drive, they may store the files that you have there until you pay again, right, for a certain period of time, let's say 7 days, 1 month. But then if you don't pay, eventually they will delete it from their servers. So in this sense, what's happening is, since our storage model is not the usual blockchain where things get stored permanently within the blockchain, it's a mixed system. So some of the parts some of the parts are stored permanently. Others is more shifting storage, you know, data that developers have to use, but then they can discard it away because they only use it momentarily. Those types of things will be the type of data that is stored within the cloud system. So in that sense, if, let's say, for example, you stop paying, there's going to be a grace period, and similar to what you have with online cloud platforms. And once after that ends, like eventually the storage will be deleted from the storage decentralized storage system.
Gotcha. I think that perfectly makes sense, right? So you pay, you get the storage, and when you stop paying, you do get the buffer time as well. Okay, you have enough time for you to come back and pay for the service that you have been using already. But if you're still not going to buy, I think there's no point of keeping those files again. I think that's totally fair. Let's
the main difference that people make some confusion is that, like, for example, I'm not going to store a 1 gigabyte video in a blockchain. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like blockchains have very limited capacity in terms of storing data. So you're not going to store the entire files within the blockchain. You're going to store it in a decentralized system, but the blockchain, the security side of it, is on the access. So you're going to have your private key, and your private key is going to function like the decryption key that allows you to access the storage within the blockchain itself. That means that that storage is not permanent and can't be deleted by the user. Because imagine if it was permanent. You would be paying for storage as you go. Let's say I upload a 1 gigabyte video, and then I have 2 gigabyte limit of storage, right? If I upload something else, then I reach my limit. But then I don't need the first video anymore. If I delete it, if it was stored in the blockchain like permanently, I would never get that storage back. You know?
Yep, I hear you.
But so it doesn't make sense for a normal user to do it like that.
True, and that completely answers my question. In fact, that was one of the question I had in mind. So you completely answered. Thank you so much for that. Let's go back a little in time, right? So I know that Sergio has been in the gaming industry for a long time, developing games, and he has won the City of Zion competition as well. And I know for a fact that your previous company was also in the gaming segment as well. So how did you guys two meet and come up with this partnership and start Phantasma?
Yeah, so basically I've known Sergio for a couple of years, and we met each other in game development. Me from the business side, and from business and marketing side, and him from a pure developer. Like Sergio is the one-man Swiss Army knife, you know. So I've known him for a couple of years, and he was the one that got me into crypto back in the beginning of 2017. Mm-hmm. And we started, like, I was just looking at different projects, looking at what projects we're doing. And then Sergio, on his spare time, he was trying to build different things. He was working for City of Zion, coming up with new ideas, new things, and trying to test out the technology. And during that year of 2017 is when he got really proficient using blockchains and creating smart contracts, specifically for Neo, and creating the tools for the blockchain. And then he had the idea for a sort of content distribution platform, like a decentralized email, mm-hmm. that was later then expanded to a content distribution platform. But Sergio is the total, you know, tech guy. He's focused on the tech. He likes to be on the computer. And you can probably see within the chat and Telegram when he goes there and he talks, he says what he has to say. If people are talking shit, then he just shuts them down and things like that. So he was always looking for, you know, the business partner in the business side of it. And I've known him for a couple of years, and from our connection over these years, he understood that I had that within me, like the business part and the type of hustle that you need to have in order to create a startup and to create a product and bring a product to the users and to make partnerships and things like that. So we started to work together on the project, and from there we built the team, and then the rest is history, as you know. Like during 2018, we had the sale and everything else, and following on that, we had a couple of changes within our roadmap, because we initially built everything on Neo, but then based on our ambitions and what we wanted to create, we understood that Neo was not there yet and was not enough for us to build the system that we want to have. And so we started developing our own blockchain. Our own blockchain is taking basically a lot of the good things that other blockchains have and trying to, because we know that in this space, a lot of them have things that are not good for the whole system. They come up with specifications and things that kind of constrain the network. And so we tried to build the best system and the best blockchain there with the best that the other blockchains have to offer. And right now we're in the end stages of it. We're aiming to have the beta for we already have the testnet out, and we aim to have the beta for the testnet in March. And once we have that, once we have everything tested, with NatureMan also running in the testnet of the Phantasma chain and everything else, then we'll launch the mainnet with the real Phantasma app, the final version of the Phantasma app, and then all of the other dApps follow one by one.
Awesome, fantastic. And thank you so much for explaining about the partnership and where it all began with you and Sergio. I do remember this at one point last year when we were discussing listing of Phantasma on Bitbns. Me and Sergio were talking, and this is all Sergio had to say. Hey, you want to talk business? Talk to my partner Alex. You want to talk tech? Talk to me. So I know how it is, and he is definitely the one-man show, a Swiss Army knife kind of a guy. Thank you so much for that. And I also see that you have a pretty good list of advisors, right? You have advisors from Ranchain, Bluecell, and a couple of others as well. So how are these people contributing post ICU?
So our advisors have played a very important role in the development of our project, because they've been, whether they've advised other projects on how to build their systems, their blockchains, or they've built their own systems, or in the case of Bluecell, they have a data system. They've been integral in not only defining the future of Phantasma and the path that Phantasma is taking going forward, but also providing with ideas and helping out with the business side of how we'll implement all of these things in the future. So every advisor that we have contributed in a large way, whether it is on the tech side by helping with tech solutions and helping out with ideas for those areas, or within the business side by bringing partnerships and things like that. And there are also advisors that are, like most of them from the business side, they're there for a strategic reason that may be for what has happened already, but also for what will happen in the future, because we're looking at a platform that will grow over time. This is not a thing that comes out and then it's done, you know? So there's a lot of things and a lot of work still to be done even after the mainnet launches. Awesome.
And I understand that you have the testnet coming up sometime next month, right?
Testnet is out. Is out since December. And we're implementing some changes from the feedback that we gather from the testnet, and that's why with the changes will come the new beta app for the Phantasma app, and that's going to be the next month. So we're implementing a couple of changes right now. The new system will be unveiled along with the app, because we believe that in order to fully understand the whole system and how it works, you're going to need to use the app in order to understand everything. It's not a video streaming platform, or it's not just an email system. It's kind of like the Pandora's box. Once you open it, you'll see.
Fantastic. Really excited to check out the app as well. So tell me about your plans for 2019. How's the mainnet looking at?
So mainnet's coming really close. We're looking at coming up with the mainnet right after we do the testing with the beta app, and the testing is going to be very dependent. So whether it goes very well or whether it goes very poorly, then we'll adjust when to release the mainnet. But as you know, if you're releasing a mainnet, everything has to be perfect, because after that point, most of the things you cannot change. You can change some of the little aspects, but the big core system, you cannot do that. You cannot change it. So we need to be sure, and that's the mainnet's coming out and it's perfect. It's how we want it. And in terms of roadmap for 2019, we're looking at mainnet, along with the app release. We're looking at the Phantasma chat, the Phantasma email, the storage, but also a very important aspect that we are launching, and this is one of the core aspects of our own blockchain and the Phantasma app itself, is the Cosmic Swaps framework. So basically, what this is kind of like a decentralized exchange, but it's a decentralized exchange that's connected directly to the person's wallet within the Phantasma app. So what this allows us is to perform within the wallet itself what you might think of what you might heard of, like atomic swaps. It's kind of like changing one coin for the other automatically. So instead of having to go on an exchange, place an order, buy the token, you have Bitcoin, you want to buy Ethereum, you go on an exchange and you buy it with Bitcoin. But imagine you just want to exchange it one for the other. It doesn't matter if it's a normal person. They don't need to know how to read order books. They don't need to know how to make orders on an exchange. They just click a button and they convert the Bitcoin to Ethereum. So that's a process that's happening in the back end, kind of like a decentralized exchange. And what this will allow is, like I said, since our app is allowing users to use the apps from any blockchain. So let's say you have Bitcoin and you want to use an Ethereum dApp. You don't have Ethereum, you don't have gas, so you cannot use the app. But within the app itself, it's going to say, you don't have Ethereum, but you have Bitcoin. You want to exchange X amount of Bitcoin for X amount of Ethereum. And then it's a pop-up, you click yes, it does the conversion automatically, and now you can use the app. So we are solving a big issue that is a big barrier of entry for new people and people coming into blockchain. And people outside of blockchain, like if they go through this process, they will never be able to use decentralized applications if they're not easy to use, they're not simple to use. So in this case, anyone can just go in within the app. Once they have their first Bitcoin or their first Ethereum, like the gates are open. They can use any app because then the automatic conversions are there, and they allow them to have the coins that they need to have in an automatic way in order to use the different systems.
Gotcha. It is very interesting that you're actually working on a platform like this where with the click of a button, they can convert their cryptocurrency to anything that is allowed within the app, right? It is interesting, and definitely I'm sure a lot of them like me are really excited to try the app and get the feedback again if there is any changes to be done. And two more questions I have. This is basically from our community, and one of the question is by Mr. Tarachan Balare. So his question is, how many companies has tie-ups with Phantasma at this point?
How many companies have
a tie-up with Phantasma as of now?
A lot of companies. I can't get you the exact number, but we have been doing a lot of partnerships until now because, like I said, since we want to kind of like source the best that crypto has to offer, we're looking at targeting different companies within these areas that I talked about: video games, media, communication, and all of that. And we're open to partnering up with them because we believe that those projects have the best type of platform within a specific area. So instead of us trying to build that for every area, we're going there and we're going to Neo and we say, okay, you have the best video gaming social media platform, the best social media for gamers. Then we partner with them and they're covering one of the areas. So what we want to have is we want the user to open up the Phantasma app and have like the best in each of the areas, so they can just use all of those apps in one place instead of trying to create a new account, creating an Ethereum account and all of that. They can just open up their phone and use every app and the best apps. So in our case, in terms of partnerships, we had in December and January, we had a lot of partnerships that we were doing. So every week we were announcing with partnerships in specific areas that we believe are very important within the Phantasma chain and within the Phantasma app, as it is the case for Alchemy for the stable token, Azura for the gaming and social media platform, OP skins for the marketplace in terms of games, and they also have a marketplace with different aspects and physical goods and all of that. Wax, NEL from Neo, Black Ops. So it's an endless stream, and in the future, in the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months, we'll be partnering with more companies and more projects to bring to highlight those projects within the Phantasma app itself.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And the last question is again by one of our users from Bitbns. It's from Simran Singh. So her question is, how is Phantasma similar to Theta? And both are claiming high quality video stream. So how is it different?
Yeah, so Theta is one of the projects that we believe is the best in terms of video streaming platform, in terms of crypto and blockchain technology with video streaming. So we'll be also trying to partner up with them in order to bring them onto the Phantasma app. Like I said, the initial roadmap that we had was building all sorts of things within the Neo blockchain, and then we saw that that was not possible within the current technology and what the Neo blockchain allowed. So our new system, some of the things we'll be building, such as the Phantasma chat and the Phantasma email, but other things which are way more specialized, as it is the case of video streaming, we're going to be looking at bringing the best video streaming platform that uses blockchain technology onto the Phantasma app.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that.
So it's not a matter of competition. We want to collaborate with all sorts of projects.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope that has answered Simran's question. And that's it as of now. Alex, you have answered all of our questions, and I'm sure this interview was great for you, and our community is going to like it. We would definitely like to catch up again on the tech side of it and see how things go. And if our community asks any more questions, we will definitely reach out to you and get some answers from you. And thank you so much for your time and the opportunity. We will look forward for working with you more and scaling big in the country for Phantasma. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
It was great being here and talking with you.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.